Roseann McCulley posted about her injuries after being released from the hospital. She said, "He was able to stomp my chest and abdomen, so the bruising and swelling is really bad there. Her pain was so severe, she wrote that she received morphine through my IV." St. John says she encouraged her friend to take her kids and go stay somewhere safe.
I said, I need you to leave the house. I don't care where you go. I need you to get out of there.
Friends worried the next time would be even worse after Bobby McCulley posted this threat on Rosie's Facebook page. It said, "Everyone, enjoy the show. More to come."
Police say 34-year-old Roseann McCulley, her 13-year-old son Caden Johnson, and daughter 6-year-old Kaylee Brooks were shot and killed, and they were held against their will prior to that.
Very sad day for that to happen this close to home. Excuse me for crying. They didn't deserve that. I never get over this one here.
Oftentimes it's family members and friends who see these incidents before they reach our office. And we need people to point their family members or their friends to the types of resources to get them help. Or if it's already crossed that line of violence, sometimes you got to do the uncomfortable thing, which is report it to law enforcement because, maybe it might strain that relationship, but it might save someone's life too.
This is the story of Roseann McCulley, a 34-year-old mother of 3 who was in an abusive marriage and posted about her abuse multiple times on her social media. After her relationship with her husband ended, her husband would break into her home one night and commit a horrifying crime. This tragic ending to this domestic violence relationship will have many looking at the missed opportunities that could have saved Rosie's life. Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is a major city in Missouri along the Mississippi River. Its iconic Gateway Arch, a towering stainless steel monument standing at 630 feet, is one of the most recognizable symbols of the city and a must-see attraction for visitors. St. Louis is also home to several world-class museums, including the St. Louis Art Museum and the Missouri History Museum. Sports fans can catch a game at Busch Stadium, the home of the St. Louis Cardinals, or the Enterprise Center, where the St. Louis Blues play ice hockey. The city is also renowned for its delicious cuisine, with unique dishes such as toasted ravioli and St. Louis-style pizza. 34-year-old Roseann McCulley, also known by friends and family as Rosie, was a mother of 3 children aged 13, 6, and 1. She was a talented artist and loved to draw and paint in her free time. She also had a passion for creating custom designs, which is why she started her own custom design business called Glitter on the 8th. She would make many beautiful creations by hand, such as custom cups and shoes, as well as custom desserts and cakes for kids' birthdays and parties. She was also a customer service claims lead at Centene Corporation. Rosie was described as a sweet person.
Hey y'all, alright, my name is Roseann, but y'all know me as Rosie Q.
She was a funny, sarcastic, and wonderful individual and was loved by many. Rosie was in a relationship with 35-year-old Bobby McCulley. The two had been together for years. Court records show that there was a history of domestic violence throughout the relationship. Rosie filed a domestic violence complaint against Bobby in 2017, but authorities said she decided not to press charges against Bobby, and the case lacked evidence without her cooperation, therefore the case was dropped. The two would stay together and would later get married July 29, 2018. Rosie appeared to be very happy to be getting married to Bobby with her friends and family all in attendance. The two would have a daughter together named Zoe. Bobby was not the father of Rosie's 13 and 6-year-old, but he did have multiple children of his own prior to the marriage. Rosie would continue to suffer abuse within the marriage and would post the violent details of Bobby's abuse on Facebook. She frequently wrote about the turbulent nature of her relationship on her social media profiles, and in multiple posts, she suggested that McCulley physically abused her. Rosie stated that her husband Bobby had beaten her so severely that she had to be hospitalized. She revealed in her post that her chest and abdomen had been stomped on by her husband, leading to severe bruising and swelling. "I'm gonna have to put my lil in retirement. I mean, I knew it was a little something between these legs, but I definitely never thought I would get beat up for not giving it to a man enough. Child, this man is bad luck. Y'all dudes really out here beating up your wife cause they don't sleep with you enough. Stomping them in the head with steel-toed boots on and trying to hit them in the face with tables and shit. No. Just Bobby. Oh, okay. I press charges and put him out. No worries. The next day on February 21st, she posted, I'm really at this hospital at almost 2 a.m. where they have found bruises, lumps and abrasions in places I didn't even think about. They want an x-ray. Crap, the whole right side of my face and head swollen. And I'm ashamed that I haven't shaved my legs in weeks. I'm tired as all hell. She posted again on the 23rd. There isn't a male friend or family member of mine that would be able to hit his wife, girlfriend, baby mama or whoever and then seek shelter at my house. Flat out. I'm not housing no woman beater. Not bringing him his from her house. Not gonna do it. Some of y'all's morals are definitely questionable. How can you stay friends with someone who is a repeat offender? In a recent post, she mentioned that they were no longer living together and requested assistance with removing his belongings from her residence. So what y'all doing on this good Saturday? Anyone wanna come help me move his shit out of my house into a storage unit so he has no reason to come back here or continue contacting me? It's not a lot of stuff, but some speakers, TV. I'm giving him the bunk beds I purchased for his kids. I mean, if me and my 13-year-old have to do it all, we will, but help would be much appreciated. Let me know. I get off work at 12 p.m. Bobby later posted a comment on her page that read, everyone enjoying the show. More to come. What would happen next would be a tragic event that no one would have expected. On the night of March 5, 2021, law enforcement officials received a call from Rosie's neighbor, notifying them of a suspicious individual in between two homes, one being Rosie's. Upon arrival, the police looked around the area for any signs of the reported person, but found no one at the time, so they left. Sadly, 3 hours later, the authorities would receive another call from a neighbor after they heard gunshots. In response, the police rushed to the scene and discovered a broken window at Rosie's residence. Looking through the window, the police would make a gruesome discovery. Officers located the bodies of 3 victims, Rosie, her 13-year-old son, and her 6-year-old daughter. Bobby committed the murders 5 days after he filed for divorce, and he also abducted their 1-year-old daughter, the only child he shared with his wife. The police issued an Amber Alert when they realized the child was missing from the home. However, Bobby eventually dropped off the child unharmed with his family. Authorities started a manhunt for Bobby, and he was charged with kidnapping and the murder of Rosie and her 2 children. The next day, as they were closing in on him, he ended his life. He was found dead in his car near his mother's home in the 1300 block of Clinton Street in North St. Louis.
We start with a tragic story out of North St. Louis County where a mother and her 2 children were shot and killed inside their home. The victims, Roseann McCulley and her 2 kids, 13-year-old Caden Johnson and 6-year-old Kaylee Brooks. The suspect was identified as Bobby McCulley III, the mother's estranged husband. Police also say he took their 1-year-old child, which caused that Amber Alert to go off overnight. That child is now safe with family. McCulley later took his own life when police tried to arrest him. Another woman, Michelle Clayton, is facing charges in this case. A probable cause statement says she misled and lied to police, preventing McCulley's arrest.
When Lionel Harold thinks about what happened to the mom and 2 kids who lived across the street,
Very sad day for that to happen this close to home.
he can't hold back the tears.
Excuse me for crying. They didn't deserve that.
Harold is just one of many neighbors on Lockwig Trail in Florissant, now gripped with sadness, heartbreak, and disbelief.
I never get over this one here. Very beautiful young lady. The kids were very manageable.
Neighbors say they last saw the mom watching her kids play outside their home on Wednesday. A bouquet of flowers now sits here in memory of the family.
I've been crying all. I ain't even been asleep. I was trying to get to sleep. I'm devastated.
My prayers, my family prayers go out to the family. I hate this even happened to the family.
Police believe that McCulley entered the home with a weapon and held the family against their will for hours before killing them around 11:30 at night, then leaving with the daughter he shared with Rosie. Additionally, according to police, they were already looking for Bobby earlier on the day of the murders, in response to a domestic violence complaint made by Rosie regarding him assaulting her. They would be shocked to later learn that he murdered her and her kids. Records show at least 5 police calls from the McCulley home in the weeks prior to the murder, one of them for domestic violence.
County leaders are calling on you to protect family, friends, and loved ones from future dangerous situations.
This is a call to action for everyone.
A sad but necessary wake-up call for people to protect loved ones in violent situations.
I think it also takes a village to protect a child and protect family members. We need people to point their family members or their friends to the types of resources to get them help, or if it's already crossed that line of violence, sometimes you got to do the uncomfortable thing, which is report it to law enforcement, because, you know, maybe it might strain that relationship, but it might save someone's life.
Police say McCulley had a history of run-ins with the law dating back to 2008. More recently, the alleged suspect and victim had a domestic dispute in 2017, but no charges were pressed.
This tragedy was not her fault by any stretch of the imagination.
The suspect had recently filed for divorce at the end of February, and police most recently were actively looking for him for a prior domestic incident. Sadly, they didn't find McCulley in time.
2 previous women both made claims of domestic violence 5 years ago. Court documents reveal 2 different women feared McCulley enough to write to the courts. In 2016, one woman obtained a full order of protection against Bobby. She wrote by hand, saying McCulley pulled a gun on me and my child and aimed it at us both. After the murder, the woman posted on social media, saying that her continued fear leads her to carry a loaded gun wherever she goes. A different woman wrote by hand the following: in June of 2016, we had police intervention for domestic violence. He has come to my home threatening my mother. He also sent his new girlfriend to my mother's home to fight me. Court records also reveals a domestic violence case that occurred when he was 23 years old, more than 10 years ago. He admitted to false imprisonment, which entails detaining a person against their will and interfering with a victim or witness. He was sentenced to a year of probation with an ankle monitor for that conviction. During the investigation after the murders of Rosie and her children, the police discovered Bobby's mother, Michelle Clayton, misled police to protect her son. She was later arrested and charged with a felony. Her bond was set at $25,000, cash only. Rosie's family and friends were devastated at the news of her death and the death of her children.
A friend believes that she was the last person to speak to Rosie alive.
She had a lot of people that just loved her because she was such a sweet person.
Stephanie St. John said her close friend Roseann McCulley called her auntie and as a nickname called Rosie her niece. She says Rosie was private about the abuse she suffered till 2 weeks ago.
He assaulted her like really badly.
St. John says she encouraged her friend to take her kids and go stay somewhere safe. Police were seeking to arrest Bobby McCulley for the domestic violence, but didn't believe he posed an imminent threat.
We had been looking for the suspect. She stayed there at the residence with her kids. There wasn't any indications to us that he was going to go back last night.
St. John said she last talked to Rosie around 6:30, but planned to check in regularly.
And I'm calling. She didn't answer. And I sent her a text message.
Around 10:30, St. John texted, "Answer me." The response was, "Busy, I will hit you back shortly." St. John wrote, "Girl, I was about to beat these streets," but then she realized that wasn't a normal response from Rosie. She wrote, "Bobby, let my niece go." There was no response. At the time, he may have still been in the house after killing Rosie and her 13-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter.
That is a sick, sadistic individual
who took the life of her dear friend.
On March 13, 2021, people gathered in front of the St. Louis County Justice Center for an End Domestic Violence rally to honor Rosie McCulley, 13-year-old Caden, and 6-year-old Kaylee. Rosie's mother said that authorities saw exactly what had been done to her daughter, and they charged it as some misdemeanor or assault 3, which meant they could only put out a wanted, which means that they weren't actively looking for Bobby, she said. Had he run across them at a traffic stop, they might have arrested him, but they didn't actively go out and find him. What happened to Rosie and her children was beyond tragic. Who knows what they went through those hours in the home with an unstable man who arrived with the intent to kill. Rosie had to be terrified and scared for her life, as well as the life of her babies. She did not deserve this, and her children did not deserve this either. Her kids should have had a safe environment to live in where they could just be kids. This tragedy leaves a 1-year-old little girl to have to grow up without parents or her siblings, and to one day have to learn the awful truth about what happened to her family. My condolences to Rosie's friends and family. May you continue to heal and one day find peace. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.